I want to recognize the former Attorney General, the great member from Kansas, for his 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, thank you for your time today. I think you have been very responsive to the questions put to you. Folks may or may not have agreed with the responses, but I think you've been responsive, and I commend you on that. I have a handful of questions. They're a little bit eclectic, so forgive me if we're all over the map. I don't think we've talked at all about the FIFA World Cup preparations yet today. I recall last summer we appropriated, it was $625 million specifically for use by I believe it's 11 cities that are going to be hosting World Cup sites. And that was intended for security preparations. I recall very well when we appropriated it because it was in the bill that all the Republicans voted for and all the Democrats voted against, but then all the Democrats put out news releases claiming credit for the money that we just appropriated. At least in Kansas City, where I represent, that money has not flowed yet. At least that's what I'm told by the local communities. We are now less than 100 days out. Our law enforcement agencies really very much would like to be in a position to know what their money is going to look like so they can make the preparations. There are mutual aid issues to be done. There are personnel decisions to be made. And for us in Kansas City, perhaps uniquely, there are additional challenges because we have the state line down the middle of the road. So the pre-coordination is really critical. Their impression is that the final sign-off, wherever that needs to come from, has not happened yet. What can you tell us about the status of those funds, and what can I tell them about what to expect?
Yeah, no, we want those dollars to get out as soon as possible. Of course, all of this is challenged by the fact that the department's not funded and doesn't have all of our employees working right now. But those dollars, there was specifically $625 million that was to be grants to the 11 cities and local jurisdictions that would be hosting the 7 to 8 matches that will happen in the United States. So those dollars will be there soon and are in the process, and I'm hopeful that you can deploy. We have the same issue at the department. We're working on purchasing drones to deploy across the country over these stadiums and fan fests that will be hosted so that we can complement what the local cities are doing. And that has been hindered as well. My hope is that we have the opportunity to get a funding bill passed, and so the department can get a lot of these things accomplished.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And I want to underscore, and I think you agree with me on this, how important it is that money flows quickly. And I want to assure you, my office and our team, we are happy to work fully with yours to talk with whoever we need to talk with in order to get that money moving. I thank you for that. Let me jump back onto the immigration side. There's been a lot of discussion on it today, and I'm thinking about the Minneapolis situation. I mean, it's possible that multiple things are true at the same time. It is true that we're in this mess because the prior administration let 10 million people into this country who should not have been here and wouldn't enforce the law against them. It is true that we're in this mess in some communities like Minneapolis because local authorities won't cooperate and agree and help now that we have an administration that will enforce the law. It is possible that there have been some individual actions in Minneapolis that we all looked at and said that should not have happened that way. I'm not asking you to comment necessarily, but I presume that the president saw it that way. He made some changes in Minneapolis, which I commend. I think those changes were prudent. Here is, I'm going to offer this as a comment and invite your response to it. Not in Minneapolis in particular, but more generally. There's a lot of angst. There's a lot of concern about some of these operations in some of the communities. Even in Kansas, we've had some targeted enforcement operations, mostly by ICE or CBP. And you get all the folks in the local community ginned up, riled up, worried. Rumors run rampant. I'll give you a real example in a community in our state recently. There were some ICE arrests, and it went all over town in the ICE watchers group, and there was an arrest at a church, and they'd gone into a school. And about 5 days later, ICE, I think out of Kansas City, the regional guys put out a statement and said, here's what happened. We came in, we were targeting 3 specific individuals. 2 had DUI convictions and final orders of deportation. 1 had a felony conviction for illegal reentry and a final order of removal. We found them, we executed a car stop. It was a car stop at a location. We couldn't just stop in the middle of the road. So they pulled into a parking lot that happened to be a church parking lot, had nothing to do with the fact it was a church. That's where the arrest was executed. And by the way, we were never close, I said to the school that everybody was worried about. I say all of that to illustrate this. I really think it would be helpful if, as a routine matter, ICE and CBP, when they do these targeted operations, they would do what so many local law enforcement agencies do. When it's concluded, put out a statement, tell the local community, here is what we did, who we did it against, and why we did it. And it would make it so much cleaner to avoid a lot of the worry and speculation. I just wonder where you are on that.
No, I think that's a great idea. We have put out dozens, sometimes in one day, what operations were after they were concluded and information so people could have all of the details. Doing that at the field office level, I will have that conversation with ICE and see if we could do that, because I don't believe they're doing that today, but informing people would be helpful when they know that they've done an operation against a targeted criminal in that area, that people might have questions. I appreciate that, and we will take that back.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I would encourage it because I really think it would go a long ways in calming a lot of the unnecessary concern.
You bet.
Thank you
Sounds
very much.
great.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You.